So today I'd like to talk a little bit about project-based learning. I'm going to give the example of a middle school science class taught by Mr. Simmons. And this example was taken from a YouTube video from the Buck Institute for Education. So Mr. Simmons ran into a problem with this class. Basically, for 1 week of school, about half the students were absent. So this gave him the idea to do a project on microorganisms. So this was the why in the presentation. Why were so many of his classmates sick at the same time? And so when he came back to the class, he developed some discussion questions. These were causes of sickness and possible prevention. So causes included things such as, student biology, germs, viruses, changes in the weather. These are all things that students and teams could discuss, do research on. And for prevention, this could be something as simple as the type of clothes you wear, washing your hands, the type of soap you're using, whether you're dressing for the weather, warm weather, cold weather, or what kind of medicine is available for students. So when he brought this to his class, they came up with an idea for a project. They wanted to help elementary school kids understand how to not get sick. So the class was divided into teams. There were 2 teams in the class, and they each had their own take on the project. So the 2 teams, they were asked the same set of questions. They did research. They did online research. They did through websites, through books, through talking to students. They would do interviews with the school nurse, as much research as they could do. They would then collaborate on their findings, give feedback, and they were able to determine the best way to make their point to children. So the teams got together at the end of the project, and they did a presentation for a panel of teachers, parents, students at a local elementary school. So team 1, they decided to make a video. So this was a great use of technology, and their video discussed the link between hand washing and avoiding the flu. Now team 2, they were able to create a poster, and their poster showed how viruses spread through transmitting germs. And while this method didn't use as much technology, they did do a lot of research and implemented technology through their research, even if it wasn't in the final delivery of their project. So, this is what project-based learning is all about. It's not about memorization, but it's about in-depth learning. So, these students, they weren't just studying, what's a microorganism, what's going to get me sick. They were actually putting into practice, and I think they had a deeper understanding by the end of it. So, I also want to briefly touch on just some of the building blocks of project-based learning and effective teaching strategies that require 21st century skills. So the first one is students must have a mastery of core academic content. Students must think critically and solve complex problems. They must work collaboratively. They must communicate effectively. They must learn how to learn. And they must develop an academic mindset. And as you can see in the example that I've given, Mr. Simmons' biology class, they were able to engage in all these things. They utilized technology, they worked in teams, they were able to collaborate, they thought outside the box, and they developed a lesson plan to actually teach what they had learned. And thank you very much.
Created using Powtoon.